Today, we'll talk about what women entrepreneurs should focus on as we head into 2026. Clear goals, smart strategy, and the mindset to make it all happen. Joining us is Shari Hughson, an award-winning entrepreneur, social innovator, and champion for women in business. Shari has built and led multiple ventures across the tech, health, and social impact sectors. Shari, welcome to your local show.
Thank you, love, for having me here.
It's a pleasure to finally have you here. We have lots of things to talk about. All right, so why don't we start with your story, which I know you've said I've heard it a couple of times, but I'm not tired of hearing about your journey. What inspired you to get into entrepreneurship?
I would say my dad. So my dad constantly said one of his regrets was not to have moved out west and not to have started a company. And so as soon as I graduated from university, I moved out to Alberta and started a company at the age of 25.
Wow.
And that company went national and scaled very quickly, and I was hooked on entrepreneurship. So I went from a nursing undergrad degree to learning everything about business the hard way on the doing it. And then I've gone on to have another 8 companies, 2 nationally scaled up, very large ventures, and several medium-sized enterprises and a couple of solo entrepreneurships.
So you've worked as an entrepreneur, social innovator, researcher, and community leader. What thread connects all these roles for you?
I would say 2 things. One is I absolutely love seeing entrepreneurs succeed. So
Thrive,
to help somebody else go on this amazing journey that I accidentally fell into.
Okay.
Like I was focused,
Great
but
accident.
accidentally fell into and loved. And to see other people get so excited about their ideas and their opportunities and grow those, that is the most common thread for everything I do. And I would say the other piece is I have really enjoyed life. I've pushed limits and stepped out of my comfort zone over and over and over again and experienced what adventure is. And entrepreneurship is a grand adventure. And I love to see people do the same.
And can you share to us about the grand adventure you did, which is when you went off grid? That's a very interesting story. And as a backgrounder, you know, when I applied for the Masters in Management Innovation Entrepreneurship program at Queen's University, and I got an email saying that I will be interviewed by Shari Hughson. I searched for your name and I came across your TED Talk and I'm like, oh my goodness, she has goals in all levels. Okay, so can you share us about that wonderful story of yours?
Yes, I'll just very quickly, because that's a big story. But really, I burned out from my 4th business. It was a national company. I had 12,000 employees across the country, and I really was exhausted. And I'd been in entrepreneurship at that point, running my own companies for almost close to 15, 16 years.
Right.
And my husband and I had both had this goal of living off the land when we were kids, before we'd met. And so we basically said, you know, there's no perfect time to do anything. There's no perfect time to start your business, no perfect time to chase a goal. And if you've had a goal for a long, long time and it keeps coming up for you over and over again, you got to go do it. So we just said, we're going to go. We sold absolutely everything and walked away from the life we'd known and moved to the middle of nowhere, 5 hours to the nearest town, and lived fully off the land, not just off grid. And basically we were hunter-gatherers for 2 years and then lived accidentally, again, through the evolution of civilization and experienced sort of the innovations that society's been through and came back more excited about innovation.
Was highly entrepreneurial.
Yes,
again.
Very.
Your drive for it. Wow. And how did it change your perspective in terms of, you know, like becoming this empowered female founder?
I think it just told me that you do need to chase your dreams. And if you've got dreams, you've got goals, you need to go do them. Don't just keep saying, someday, because someday won't come. So you've got to just go. Jump in. And one of the biggest things for female founders is females are far more risk averse than our male counterparts. And so we don't always keep stepping forward out of our comfort zone. And it just showed, wow, I lived probably the most amazing experience of my life by chasing the strangest goal, which was to live in the middle of nowhere by ourselves and survive.
You survived.
And survive.
Yes. So let's talk about heading towards 2026.
Yep.
Wrapping up a successful 2025. Now, what's the biggest shift you're seeing in how female founders or women entrepreneurs are approaching entrepreneurship today, or as we head towards the new year?
I would say the biggest changes that I've been seeing, because I'm still obviously very involved in the entrepreneurial world, the biggest changes I've been seeing are, one, the numbers of women that are seeking this independence.
It's growing.
It's so growing. It is just multiplying far faster than their male counterparts that are diving into entrepreneurship. And female founders are also shifting their focus a bit, where more often women are doing service or retail type businesses and or taking a hobby into their solopreneurship. But more and more now are looking for partners, looking at STEM related businesses, using technology more, and branching out, not staying quite as small or medium sized that we normally focus on. And we're looking for, is there a way I can scale either financially this business or impact? And many women, the impact is the most important thing. So
yes,
and they're scaling their impact.
And do you think, is this because also like these days, there's more support for them? Like
totally.
Communities, like, you know, what we're doing with, like here in AWEC.
Yeah, totally. And that's the biggest shift that I've seen in the years that I've been an entrepreneur. One, there was just very few women when I started, very few role models. There's many role models today that are stepping up and saying, I'll help. I'll help the next generation of women. There's lots of networks that women are community-based. They're driven by community. And so to see female groups coming together and caring about each other and supporting each other's journey wasn't available before. So that's fantastic. I would say the biggest thing we're not seeing, though,
okay, what is it?
There is no shift yet in females' mindset quite yet, nor in the funding gap. So it still exists.
So
for
when
females.
you said mindset, like to be very specific, what?
Yeah, so women tend to be more wanting to have more control over their enterprises, which actually keeps them smaller with less revenue. So typical stats show that males have a much higher revenue company and end up at higher revenues, almost 4 or 5 times more than female owners on average.
Okay.
But females have a higher operating margin. So we're not willing to step in and give control to someone else and risk hiring the people that we need to get to that next level. So that ability to take a bit more risk and step a bit away from the control that we tend to have a little different in our mindset than men.
And so from your personal experience as well, you know, like what tips or advice can you give to women in business, you know, in terms of becoming bolder and, you know, like becoming like more of a risk taker, but then again, calculated risk, right? Yes. Are there different approaches depending on the kind of venture or project that you're into?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing that women need to do is start very small, with small things that they're afraid of or that they haven't experienced or haven't done, a little bit outside their comfort, and slowly build up their comfort level with things that that are different for them or new experiences for them. And it doesn't have to be in business, in anything. If you're normally reading fiction, go read nonfiction. If you're always going the same route to work, take a different route. If you step on an elevator and you're always facing the same way as everyone else, turn around and smile at everybody.
Basically out of your comfort zone, do things differently.
And slowly you'll build up your risk tolerance, which will translate into the rest of your life. So I really encourage women to look at, what could I go do? How could I do something different this week, every week for 2026? And then the other piece of it is always look at And this is something I did right from the start. What is the worst case scenario?
Right.
And if I know what the worst case scenario is, then I always have sort of a backup plan to that. So if that happens, what will I do? And if I can have that backup plan, I'm ready to go. Right. If I can live with whatever that backup plan is, because it's usually, you got to let some ego go and take the failure and take the no's that you get when you're trying to sell, and
take the good
risks.
with the bad,
and
everything, the messy middle, everything,
And so you eventually, you're okay with what might not go quite the way you'd planned it, or trying to control it to go that way.
And speaking of that, I'm having this more appetite for risk, stronger appetite for risk. As we approach 2026, how do we set realistic goals while being more bolder and more courageous, but still kind of grounded in the reality that this is what is going on right now, the business climate, what's going on with my business, with everything that's, as a female founder, we manage lots of things, right? You also have your personal life. So setting realistic goals. How is that?
I think the number one step is to get into a support network and really get realistic about what is doable in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year.
Okay, breaking it down.
Have this grand vision and go bigger. Have a bigger grand vision, but break it down into smaller steps and get to the first point, which is break even, cash flow. Am I cash positive? Then, do I have enough money to cover all the expenses and beat what I was making in that job? Okay, now I've got that. Now what's the next step? How do I now expand? How do I grow? How do I add more people to my team? And so it's staged goals towards that bigger vision.
But it doesn't get overwhelming.
It should never feel overwhelming. And your chances of reaching each of those steps goes way up when you hyper focus on just that. And to me, for female founders, it always comes back to sales, and sales.
Yes.
So all the other busy work.
Which is a huge challenge, really.
It is, and women like busy work. Women will sit in the back and play with the way they've worded their website and what it looks like and which pictures to use, that rather than just
the marketing
getting
side.
out there. Yeah.
Setting yourself up for success in the new year. What are the vital ingredients? What is the secret sauce to that? If there is, there should be. Right?
There should be, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's start looking at your life as this fun adventure, grand adventure. Set some goals for the whole year, and then break them down into steps. And put a couple of stretch ones in there, and then put some very realistic ones for the business. And keep saying over and over and over again that you're great, you're okay, everything's going to be fine. You know what to do. You've got plan B if you need plan B.
And you have a support system. Like what you said, here in our local community in Kingston, there are several organizations supporting women in business. And what can we look forward to, Shari Hughson, for 2026? Like, what's cooking for you? Any projects upcoming?
My biggest project is we're doing another really weird experiment. We are building a home in Belize, Central America.
Wow.
And again, it's going to be really different and unique. But my goal is to start seeing how you build entrepreneurial ecosystems in developing countries and help build out great small, medium enterprises in any way that I can help. So I'm really looking forward to.
And you do business coaching? Yes, and you're open to one-on-one coaching if women, they want to reach out to you. And how can they contact you?
The easiest way is on LinkedIn, and people can then see what I've done and send me a message, and I always get back to people. I love helping any entrepreneurs that are excited about what they can create in the world. It's an amazing adventure.
And you are an amazing entrepreneur.
Thank
you so much, Shari, for gracing your local show, and we look forward to more empowering projects for women in the upcoming year.
Thanks, love.